Growing up, the only anime I would watch were shonen action series and maybe the occasional magical girl shows that aired alongside them on YTV. I was definitely in a shonen bubble of sorts throughout grade school, and it wasn't until high school where I began branching out to other genres like sports, rom-coms, and most notably, slice of life. And my god, the amount of shows that were set in a high school, it's like I haven't even scratched the surface of it yet. Within this cesspool of teen angst, I found Sket Dance, a 2011 anime about a group of 3 high school students who form a club and act as their school support group. Basically, they're out helping students and staff with something as simple as finding a lost item to something more personal like helping build self-confidence. There are also episodes of the trio just hanging out and getting into wacky situations. If this plot sounds at all familiar, it's basically Gintama but in school. In fact, they even did a crossover with each other, but to be honest, I haven't watched or read enough Gintama to really appreciate either of those episodes, but regardless, let's take a look at Sket Dance and why I think it's worth your time. So, the plot. There isn't one. Well, that is to say, there isn't an overarching story to it. It really is just about 3 high school students who help out anyone that's in need. What drives the series forward are the characters and all the comedic situations they find themselves in. But I feel like the show really hits its strides in the more serious episodes, the ones that throw a curveball your way and make you go, what? Looking back on it now, I really appreciate the show taking a breather from all these comedic episodes and giving us some much needed background on all these characters, because now you begin to understand them more as a person and why the club they formed means so much to each one of them. Speaking of which, let's talk about them.
で、この俺が助っ人団のリーダー、ボッスンこと藤崎祐介だぜ。
Fujisaki Yusuke, or Wasun as he's like to be called, is the main character and the leader of the club, but a lot of the times he's more of the punching bag and comedic relief given how childish he acts. He's also the victim of the gags of the show, like turning into a kid, getting his emotions all jumbled up, and body swapping. Most shonen protagonists have some sort of special power that makes them unique. MHA has quirks, Naruto has jutsus, and Bleach has big sword. In Sket Dance, Wasun has the ability to think really hard. I swear it's more interesting than it sounds. When Wasun puts on his goggles, he's able to go into total concentration. A lot of the times it's to help him double down on whatever he needs to do, whether it be aiming his slingshot or studying. But I think the skill really shines in moments like episode 3 where one of the club members gets captured. Wasun was able to locate her location with nothing but background noise, or in episode 55 where he made this. Now, I get it, these aren't all Death Note level, all according to Keikaku type stuff, but I feel like going Galaxy Brain is very fitting for his character. It may seem like the show is downplaying his character a lot, and to be fair, they are. This is a comedic series after all, but when you get down to it, Wasun's been through some stuff and his experiences make him who he is today, someone who values camaraderie and won't just stand by while the people closest to him are in danger.
今日こそ確信した。私はセンスある。エントリーナンバー1、織姫こと鬼塚姫作。
Himeko is the muscle of the group. Whenever anything physical needs to get involved, she's usually the one to handle it with her field hockey stick. She was known as the Onihime, which was a name given to her due to the fact that she had never lost a fight. However, as time passed, so did her outlook on life. She'd still fight, but only when it's to protect others or in self-defense. Although the title of Onihime is still tied to her, she doesn't let it define who she really is. Despite being a brash tomboy, there are many instances where she displays more of her innocent side and gives into her weakness of cute things and such. She's also shown to be very motherly at times, keeping both the club room and the 2 boys in check. She also has a love for these Pelican lollipops, which are notorious for having interesting flavors. Over the course of the show, there are many moments of romantic tension between Himeko and Wasun. However, neither of them want to acknowledge that it exists in the first place. But unfortunately, the anime doesn't really go beyond this. There is a chapter in the manga where Himeko is more the focus, but unfortunately it was never animated. To be fair though, I was quite satisfied with how much we did get because to me it felt like you got to know everything you needed to know about Himeko, given that you've seen or read her backstory, because in my opinion that's really the bulk of her character. She's a delinquent turned humanitarian with a Kansai dialect who looks damn good in a maid outfit. Not a combination you're out looking for, but one that's certainly welcome nonetheless.
子供の演技なら この臼井和義ことスイッチに任せておくがいい。
っていちいちためんな。
前もやったな、それ。
Last up, we have Usui Kazuyoshi, aka Switch. He's the brains of the group, as he's usually the one keeping all the information, all the tabs on all the students in the school. Despite his looks, he's actually a huge otaku with an outgoing personality. His most standout feature is the fact that he uses a laptop to speak. It's kind of sad that we never got to see him talk, but to be honest, it didn't really bother me because his personality more than makes up for it. Now, I know what you're thinking. What's up with that laptop? Like, it's on some typing on the dead type shit, where they got some strong ass straps, and the straps are just casually hanging around their neck, while the keyboard's not even touching their chest. Those have to be the strongest straps I've ever seen. Oh wait. Switch is an inventor, creating all sorts of robots and gadgets that have no practical use or are super specific to a scene, only to never be used again. Reminds me of another man-child on YouTube who likes making robots. That said, he does have his moments to shine in the many
さすがスイッチのコーナー
wherein Switch does something awesome, prompting the audience to say,
さすがスイッチなぜ言わないかな
会長、昨年度の決算報告の件ですが。
なあ、助っ人団って知ってっか？
は？
In episode 5, we're introduced to the student council who become the rivals to the trio. There's Sojiro Agata, the president, Sasuke Tsubaki, the vice president, Kikuno Asahina, aka Daisy, the secretary, Unyu Mimori, the treasurer, and Michiru Shimba, the manager of general affairs. Fundamentally, these two groups want the same goal of improving campus life for the students, but the rivalry aspect comes in the need to one-up each other, aka Bosun's need to one-up Tsubaki because he believes Bosun's club doesn't really do anything. In fact, the first major arc is a where both teams competed in a real-life mobile game tournament. I actually really enjoyed the last match between Bosun and Agata because he brings up very subtle prompts to Bosun's backstory, which I thought was interesting. In the episodes moving forward, you really get to know everyone in the student council and their relationship with each other. Ironically enough, there are episodes where they do get themselves into strange situations, so, it all balances out. Aside from that, there were also a slew of other minor characters, such as Momoka, a delinquent turned idol and voice actress, Roman, an inspiring manga artist who enjoys breaking the fourth wall, Dante, the visual K vocalist who speaks in riddles, Shinzo, the samurai who takes his lifestyle way too seriously, Chiaki, aka the captain because she's the captain of the baseball team, Yabasawa, Joku Kusuragi, and of course, objectively, the best character in the series, Nakatani-san from Class A. Nakatani-san has become sort of a meme within the anime and manga because, well, we don't know anything about her. Other than the fact that she had a boyfriend at one point, she lost 5 kilograms on a diet, she has 4 cats, likes donating blood, really likes fish, she's thought to be a mature person, attended the school field trip with friends, brings snacks to the school to share with fellow students, loaned Himeko a book, is raising a hamster, and once called Himeko to save her from a gang of boys. Keep in mind, all this is coming from Himeko, who seems to be the only person who ever talks to her in the series. But fear not, because in chapter 216 of the manga, Bosun finally breaks and asks the question we've all been wondering in the back of our minds, only to be duped at the very last second, and was never seen again. The world may never know who Nakatani-san from Class A is, but maybe it's better this way.
私らの出番これだけ？
次回ラストのアニメの主人公がいいざまだな。はっはっは。
So, should you watch it? Well, there are a few things that may turn people off from watching it. First, it's pretty long compared to most shows nowadays. Over the course of its 1-year runtime, it's aired 77 episodes along with an OVA. Anything past that, though, you're gonna have to read the manga. In terms of the ending for the anime, I think it ended off on a decent note. It definitely left me wanting more because, well, I'll be honest, the last 2 episodes weren't the best. Fortunately, the manga gave much more of a satisfying conclusion to the series and tied up a lot of loose strings that were left behind in the anime. If you want to pick up where the anime ended, it'd be around chapter 158. But keep in mind, there will be chapters that call back to other characters that weren't shown in the anime, so just be wary of that. Oh, but what if I don't want to read the manga? Well, at least read chapters 242 to 251. These 10 chapters bring closure to Switch's backstory because it did end on a cliffhanger in the anime. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I do think this show really hits its strides in the more serious episodes where you find out about the trio's backstory, as well as some more intimate interactions throughout the show and the manga. So far, we've only seen them having fun, but at the end of the day, it really wasn't always like this. People grow and their views on life change. They come to terms with who they were in the past and change for the better. Eventually, time will pass. Memories will become pictures, even though little by little, they fade away from the album. I can still laugh and say it's alright. I can be certain that our youth has always been there. We'll be proud to say that.